Good morning. This is Dom Palayo checking in. Today is Friday, September 12th, 2025. Just got up. It's a little after 3 in the morning, so I get up early sometimes. I'm kind of an early to bed, early to rise kind of guy. So I haven't put out a video. I thought about putting a video out the last couple of days, but I didn't want to. I wanted to kind of let some more information filter through before said anything about what's happened this week. We've of course had this shooting of Charlie Kirk, which I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a conservative, but I really hadn't. I think it's a generational thing. I hadn't really watched a whole lot of Charlie Kirk in the past. I had heard of him, but really hadn't paid a whole lot of attention to him. I think he's more for the more like the millennials and younger people. Um, so we've been going down this road for a while where people cannot handle, and I think it's especially people on the left cannot seem to handle people that disagree with their viewpoints. If you don't agree, if you have a different point of view than the leftist ideas on sexuality, on on religion, on uh, a number of different issues. They don't just disagree with you. It's almost like they want you dead. I mean, they that is the way these people are. The more extreme radical end of them, anyway. Um, there is a big chunk of the United States, a big chunk of the country that does not believe in um, the left agenda when it comes to things like sexuality. Many of us are just very traditional, believe in the core human family that consists of a father and a mother, kids, and an extended family. But you know, I would say the majority of Americans, sizable majority, still believe in the traditional family. Um, Somewhere in the last 20 years, I think with the advent of social media, I didn't really even hear about LGBTQ stuff until about 2008. 2008 was when I first became even aware that even existed. Um, I remember it was during the whole Prop 8 thing out there in California when that was going on. That was the first time I had really, oh, there's people that really want, you know, men to be able to marry men and women. I didn't even know that was a thing um, before then. And it seems like over the last since about that time, since about 2008, we've just seen a lot of young people especially get brainwashed into that. And I don't know if it's to shock people. I think young people have this desire to get noticed and get attention in any way they can. I don't know if it's a I don't really understand what it is. It didn't used to be like this. It wasn't like this when I was growing up. You just never heard about this kind of stuff. And I don't think there were nearly as many people that were going down this road. I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's chemicals that are being used in our foods, on all the plastics. I don't know. I really don't know what it is. I do think that social media has spread it. Um, I also think that it seems like women are more apt to go towards this, are more open to this. Um, I don't know. I just don't understand it, but I don't understand it. Personally, I don't understand it. I didn't grow up in that world. I grew up in a world that was a lot more traditional. So I will tell you, I just don't understand it. To me, it's just nature for men and women to be together, because it takes a man and a woman to have children. That's just the way nature works, and I don't believe in people changing sexuality and all of that. So that's just my personal belief. People can disagree with me, and that's fine. And we should be able to have those discussions and be able to disagree with each other without somebody shooting somebody in the neck. It's just, it's insane. It's insane. And I can't get over how many leftists are out here laughing and celebrating that this 31-year-old guy got killed for sharing his point of view. And they want to call his speech hate speech. No, he pretty much says what every traditional American feels, what they think. For the most part, I mean, I'll be honest, I haven't watched hours and hours of Charlie Kirk videos. I have seen some of his some material from him, but from what I understand, he comes at it from a fairly Christian point of view, a very traditional Christian point of view. And that upsets people these days. And I think the world really is full of, especially here in the United States, we have a lot of evil people right now. And when evil, it's almost like baking soda and vinegar. When evil is confronted by good and by especially by Christian doctrine, there is a visceral reaction. So I think we're all going to have to be a lot more careful these days, especially if you have a large platform like Charlie Kirk had. I mean, why he didn't have bulletproof glass around like Trump had, or I think they're really going to have to be doing things like that now. I think that I don't know why they didn't learn about the rooftops. It's like, my gosh, it's like we just had Trump almost get killed because of a guy on a roof, and now Charlie Kirk, and it's like, you guys are going to have to look at these roofs. The security people are going to have to look at the roofs. It's like, come on, guys. It's just, and maybe they're going to have to stop doing all these outdoor events. It's like maybe they're going to have these things indoors where it can be better, where it's a little bit more secure. I don't know. Anyway, as of this point, they have not caught the guy. I don't think it's going to be long. I think they're going to have him pretty soon. They've already got a pile of evidence. They've already got the murder weapon, supposedly. I don't think it's going to be long. They'll have this guy. They have a lot of resources on this with the FBI involved and everything else. It's not going to take them long to nail this guy. Anyway, we'll get him. And and another thing I've been feeling like for a while, so many of these criminals these days are emboldened because we don't handle it. We don't handle these violent criminals the way we need to. We need to go back to the way we handled violent criminals 100 years ago. They should not be sitting on death row for 30 years. They should have an appeal or two, and then that's it. And within 3 years, they should be executed. That's just me. Especially when, it's just when you've got solid, when you have the concrete evidence, like the guy down there in Charlotte who stabbed that little girl to death. We have him on video. We know who he is. I mean, it's a slam dunk case. This guy, I mean, okay, yeah, I mean, maybe he gets an appeal, but it's like we've got him on video. I mean, it's just, we don't need these people around. We don't need them around. We don't need them to sit in a jail cell for 30 years. Just we need to start executing people, and and get rid of them. I think if we had harsher punishments and really took care of people that just can't behave in a civilized society, don't know how to behave in a civilized society, they don't need to be in civilized society. You're risking the lives of your decent citizens, letting these people roam free. So we need to be executing these people faster. We need to people that haven't murdered but are committing other violent crimes need to go away for 20 or 30 years. They don't need to be around. And that's my viewpoint on it. Anyway, my point of view is not going to change the way the legal system works. I know that. Um, we need an overhaul, though. We need. There's a lot of things that need to change. Um, I hate it for Charlie Kirk's wife, and they had two young little kids. That really sucks. I've heard that they're going to be well taken care of. There's enough people in the conservative circles. I've already heard that Elon Musk is going to help them out. I don't know if Charlie Kirk had life insurance. What his situation was financially, but I think they're going to be the family's going to be well taken care of. So it's just those kids have to grow up without a dad. But that's the risk that you take being a conservative in the United States and having a big platform. I think all of these other conservative pundits are going to have to be careful. I think, like Ben Shapiro, maybe even like Joe Rogan, and some of the others that are out there these days are going to have to just be careful. They're going to, that's just these leftists are nuts enough that they are willing to kill over their ideology, especially this rainbow ideology. You push back against that, and these people get absolutely. There is an absolute visceral reaction and extreme anger on their end because of it. But they have to realize that most of us don't agree with the lifestyle. I don't think most Americans agree with it. Anyway, it is what it is. This is America 2025, and we're just in a really crazy time right now. I feel like it's been getting crazier and crazier and crazier over about the last 15, 20 years. I think social media has a lot to do with that, and I think people need to get back in church. I think that's also a big part of it. My idea is it's like I'm gonna be real honest with you guys. I personally have not been back to church in a couple of decades. I haven't been active. There's reasons for it. A lot of it has to do with I've been through divorce and things, and I'll be honest, going to church is not the most comfortable experience for me anymore. I grew up Mormon, and I served a mission for the Mormon Church, and when I was younger. But you go through a divorce when you're Mormon, and people look at you different. Um, Especially being a guy, and really my divorce um, was really my decision, and that's really frowned upon in the LDS Church. So it's pretty uncomfortable being there. I don't really feel comfortable at church that much anymore, especially sitting around a bunch of young families. It's a little bit depressing sometimes being there. Um, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I should think about getting back. Maybe if not the Mormon church, maybe going to a different church. I don't know. I think we need to support our churches again. I think part of the reason we're seeing a lot of this crazy culture that we've got these days is because people haven't been going to church and getting that. They haven't been taught this at home. The good traditional uh, Judeo-Christian teachings, which I think need to have a comeback in the United States, because the direction we're heading right now, I think, is a direct result of us forsaking religion, and specific the Christian. I mean, honestly, if people have other faiths, that's fine. You know, I'm not big on Islam these days, just because of all the problems that we've had with Islam and their desire to kind of like conquer, and just take over, um, and force and compel compliance with their faith. I'm not big into that. But that's where we are in 2025. Anyway, this is Don Pelayo checking out. I hope you guys have a good evening, and I'll talk to you soon.